Yoda never wanted to train Luke Skywalker, and this is the reason why. Yoda trained Luke Skywalker on Dagobah, but he always had his eyes set on someone else to be his new apprentice in the original trilogy. Per a passage in the new Star Wars canon novel, Yoda had envisioned himself training someone else to take down the Sith, not Luke Skywalker. When Luke first encounters the wise Jedi Master on Dagobah in The Empire Strikes Back, Yoda is reluctant to show the youngster the ways of the Force because he fears Luke will suffer the same fate as his father Anakin. Through their early interactions when Yoda was putting on an act of being insane, the little green alien's worst fear about Luke were seemingly confirmed. Luke had a quick temper, little patience, and craved adventure. Yoda was swayed by Obi-Wan Kenobi's faith in the farm boy turned hero, and Luke's promise that he wouldn't fail. Left with no choice if the Empire was to be vanquished, Yoda agreed to teach Luke. At the Empire's second act, Luke lets Yoda down when he impulsively leaves Dagobah so he can attempt to rescue Han Solo and Princess Leia on Cloud City, and Chewbacca too, despite the pleas of his mentor. Both Kenobi and Yoda are afraid Luke is about to take the quick and easy path by jumping headfirst into a task he wasn't ready for. Luke, however, stayed loyal to his friends and flew off, leaving Yoda to contemplate the future. When Obi-Wan bemoaned that Luke was their last hope, Yoda reminded him that there was another. This mystery was resolved in Return of the Jedi when it was revealed that Luke and Leia were brother and sister, and Yoda always felt that Anakin's daughter was the better option of the two. To celebrate the 40th anniversary of A New Hope, the novel Star Wars from a Certain Point of View was published. The book is a collection of short stories set during the events of that seminal film, allowing readers to experience the story from the perspectives of background and side characters. One chapter called There Is Another takes place on Dagobah and follows Yoda as he migrates to the other side of the planet as the seasons change. Settled in his hut, Yoda has a conversation with the recently deceased Obi-Wan about their next move. When Kenobi asks Yoda to train young Skywalker, Yoda eagerly accepts, thinking Obi-Wan is referring to Leia. He is disheartened to learn Obi-Wan is instead requesting for Luke to be the apprentice. But Yoda obviously agrees and tells Obi-Wan to send Luke to Dagobah. Yoda's hesitancy stems from his belief Luke lacks the serious mindset necessary to become a Jedi Knight, sensing great anger in Anakin's inattentive and headstrong son. Yoda preferred Leia since she seemed to possess the traits typical found in a great Jedi. As many Star Wars fans know, the princess is strong-willed, determined, and always focused on the task at hand. These are the qualities that made her such a valuable leader for the Rebel Alliance, even when she was just a teenager. Obi-Wan's exact reasoning for choosing Luke over Leia is unknown, but those familiar with the films can piece it together. Watching over Luke for nearly 20 years, Obi-Wan obviously grew fond of the boy and recognized Luke had a kind heart, regardless of any flaws. Plus, Obi-Wan saw little of himself in Luke. He was reckless once upon a time too, which gave him confidence Skywalker wouldn't stray from the right path. Obi-Wan had been through a lot in his life and always resisted the dark side. Plus, Leia was bound by her duty to the rebellion and could not afford to detour to a swamp to train with Yoda. Ultimately, Obi-Wan's intuition proved to be correct, and at least at the time, Luke was able to save the galaxy by bringing his father back to the light side, defeating the Sith in the process. Of course, in the 3 decades since the Battle of Endor, Luke attempted to start a new generation of Jedi and failed when Ben Solo became Kylo Ren. Yoda's Force Ghost appears in The Last Jedi, and the conversation they have between the two were quite fascinating and revealing. If you're enjoying my content, please click the subscribe button and the thumbs up button, and have a wonderful week. And remember, the Force will be with you always.
Remember, the Force will be with you always.